YouTube get it first, cause you know that's just how nigga get in. Want to get some YouTube money eventually, so y'all get it first. Y'all be quiet. Gotta shut the kids up and shit. Bang, bang. Gotta get all that shit ready. Fuck it. Start the live and shit. Boom. Alright. In the words of the great motherfucking Dave Chappelle, let's start the show. I hit the motherfucking button too early. Rhythm off, but y'all know how I go. I took 2 weeks off. Gunshots, bitch. And then there was bass. Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. This is your host, Yung Dolemite, of the Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room once again. You know, today's episode wasn't really shit cracking that a motherfucker really was tripping off of. You know, the one thing that everybody been talking about is the movie Judas and the Black Messiah. So I guess I'm just gonna do a little review on that shit right now. You know, it is what it is. Slow week. Motherfuckers still gotta bring some content. You know, hopefully I can pull some game up out this shit. What's going on, Jake? What's up, Crystal? You know, shout out to the motherfuckers popping up in the live and all that good old shit. But yeah, man, you know, been a slow week. Slow week personally. You know, shout out to everybody in Texas though. You know, everybody going through that motherfucking snowstorm. Shit is fucked up out that motherfucker. You know, prayers to everybody in Texas, my nigga. You know, especially the Dallas area. I know a lot of y'all saw that video of that big ass, crazy ass motherfucking pile up. You know, a lot of that shit, you know, videos like that, that shit give me fucking anxiety, you know, because everybody who listen to this show, you know, for any amount of time know I'm a truck driver by trade. Like, nigga, videos like that is the main reason I was like, fuck that road, dog. I gotta be local. You know, like you out there risking your motherfucking life during this winter time, homie. And the fucked up thing about that shit, when it comes to, you know, the truck driving hustle, you know, during the winter, a lot of times you gotta drive slower. The weather conditions are fucked up. You know, a lot of us get paid by the mile. We don't get paid by the hour like a lot of y'all niggas do. Like, you have a longer day and you make more money. In trucking, it's all about the miles. So when you rolling by the mile and you going slow, nigga, you are not making any money, my nigga. Like, you know, you got a super high level of risk. You know, that shit dangerous as a motherfucker when you driving on them icy roads. You know, and then you out here going slow, that's less money. It's dangerous as a motherfucker, and it ain't no hazard pay in that shit. If you get fucked up, you just got fucked up. You know, like me personally, the way that I got down, you know, I'm all about safety. So a lot of times, them icy nights like that, I wouldn't even roll. Nigga, I'll be quick to shut it down. Like a lot of my co-workers and co-drivers and shit in my old company, them motherfuckers knew I was good for pulling that yellow brake, cause I'm not putting my life on the line for that shit, my nigga. Like, it ain't no dollar amount worth my fucking life. So when the roads be icy like that, nigga, I was off them streets. Fuck that shit. You know, because a big thing is, you know, like in the truck driving game when it come to black ice. You know, like you can never see that shit coming. It's no level of skill for that shit. Like a lot of the motherfuckers out there, like, you know, when you see that accident, you know, like a lot of the people who was watching it, who not in the industry, you know, who don't live in areas that get like that, I was like, damn, why didn't they just stop? Like, my nigga, the thing about black ice, nigga, you don't know you own it until you own it. You know, like one of the things that, you know, like a rule of thumb for professional drivers when it comes to that shit is when you rolling, if you could see the water shooting up off the bottom of somebody's tires, you know that that's water. But if it look wet and you can't see that water shooting up, that's ice. But the thing is, my nigga, you don't know you own that shit until you own that shit. And once you get on that shit, it's too late, my nigga. because it ain't no skill level for that shit. It ain't no counter steering for that shit. You know, like it's just like anything, my nigga. You know, like I was talking about in my last episode, like nigga, you know, once you get in a position where you at the mercy of the court, you at the mercy of the court. You know, once you make a mistake, you at the mercy of your fucking consequences. Like you can't choose what happens after you get on that shit. Once you get on black ice, my nigga, it's all up to inertia at that point. So, you know, prayers to everybody out there, dog. Like that shit is putting a monkey wrench in a lot of shit, especially like in my industry. Because ain't no freight coming through that motherfucker. And Texas a big motherfucking state, homie. Texas is the middle of the motherfucking country. A lot of freight gotta go through that motherfucker. So being that can't nothing go through that motherfucker, nigga, I've been having some days off work that I didn't ask for. So, you know, that's that bullshit. But if you living in Texas, my nigga, stay warm. If you know somebody in Texas, you know, send them motherfuckers some money, man. Help the motherfuckers out. Help them niggas get some fucking firewood or, you know, some flashlights or some shit. Because I heard they having blackouts. You know, motherfuckers gas going out, nigga. They houses getting flooded. All types of fucked up shit. And I used to want to move to Texas too. Like, I used to say that shit. Like, if I was to leave California, I'd go to either Texas or North Carolina. It's looking real North Carolina-ish right now. Because Texas, boy, y'all niggas' weather is fucked the fuck up. So shout out to y'all niggas in Texas, man. You know, prayers up and all that good old shit. But yeah, you know the movie fucking Judas and the Black Messiah. You know, shout out to all the actors. Everybody did a good fucking job. You know, shout out to Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Akuya. That nigga name is hard as fuck to pronounce, but that nigga's a hell of a fucking actor. Like the last couple of movies I seen that nigga in, that nigga beasted on that shit, my nigga. Like, shout out to that nigga, man. You know, Fred Hampton, you know, a leader of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party. You know, a lot of us who are familiar with the story kind of knew what was going to happen. You know, not exactly in the context of, you know, the perspective that the story was told from. You know, the story was told from the perspective of the fucking rat. But, you know, a lot of us, you know, who familiar with the movement and things of that nature, you know, we know how Fred Hampton, you know, came to his untimely demise. The one thing that tripped me out, you know, that I learned at the end of the movie was the nigga was only 21. You know, like, I think I talked about that shit in the episode Legacy versus Longevity. Like, it's a trip what certain motherfuckers could do in a short amount of time that they on the planet. My nigga, like, you know, Nipsey, Tupac, Biggie, Pop Smoke. You know, like, it's certain motherfuckers, man, that's, you know, these motherfuckers was only on this earth for 21, 22, you know, Nipsey 33 years. A lot of motherfuckers be 75 goddamn years old and ain't nobody gonna never remember your name. Like, it was funny because when I was leaving work today, I was talking to one of my co-workers, you know, and he like, oh man, you know, how you doing, man? I'm like, shit, you know, trying to be like you. That nigga was like, man, don't be like me, be like Jesus. And I'm like, shit, Jesus got killed at 33, my nigga. Like, I ain't trying to be like Jesus, my nigga. I'm cool. But, you know, like I said in that episode, you know, legacy versus longevity, my nigga, like Nip. Nigga, 33 years in your life be remembered forever, or 100 years and don't nobody remember your name. You know, that's a personal choice a lot of motherfuckers gonna have to make. Like me personally, you know, I'm choosing longevity just for the sake of, you know, my children. Because like in the movie, like it was like, one of the parts of the movie that I laughed at, like that I got a little chuckle off of, was you know, when he had got out of jail and he was doing the little I am a revolutionary, you know, he was doing that speech. That nigga girl was, you know, like rubbing her stomach, you know, because the nigga had said some shit like, oh, I'm probably gonna be dying for the people. You know, I'm giving my life to the revolution. You know, I'm not gonna die slipping on no ice or choking on no chicken bone. I'm probably gonna die for the people, nigga. She was rubbing her stomach like, hold on, nigga. Wait a minute, my nigga. Like, what about the baby, my nigga? Like, hold on. dying for the people, my nigga. What about the good? What about our goddamn child? Like me personally, like that shit was funny as a motherfucker because it was a relatable moment, my nigga. Like, as a mother, when it comes to, females having children by dudes, and this is like something that I talked to my little cousin like way back in the day, probably like a decade ago, when she called herself liking street niggas, and it's like, that shit is cool, street niggas is attractive to women, they like the way motherfuckers carry themselves, they like to feel protected and things like that. But it's a lot that comes with dating a street nigga. Just like in the case of Fred Hampton. When you dealing with a motherfucker, who's on the FBI wanted list. A motherfucker who is dedicating their life to a cause that could cost them their life. Like, it's all fun and games, it's all love and kisses and shit. But, when them consequences hit, my nigga, and not even consequences of bad actions, but just, consequences of being part of a movement where the enemy is willing to kill for victory, my nigga. It's like motherfuckers putting their life on the line, and that's something that comes with dating a motherfucker of that caliber. Like that shit is crazy as fuck. Like, watching her rub her stomach, because, in her head, before children come into the picture, I think she probably was on the same shit he was on. Like, nigga, I'm willing to die for this shit. But when you get a kid, my nigga, like that shit change your whole fucking perspective on life. Like I remember Tupac was doing a little speech about that shit. And I don't even think I'm gonna call that shit a speech. I think it might have been an interview, but I do remember that it was Tupac who had said that shit. Like, like revolution is in the hands of the young. Because once you get older, it's like your revolutionary spirit kind of died. And the thing is, like Tupac never had no kids. So like one of the things that I think that, I'm not gonna say that he didn't understand, but something that, he didn't really speak on. He just was saying like, when you get older, you just get turned down. Like, you got more to lose and you don't want to lose it. So as an older motherfucker, like you ain't willing to turn up like you are when you young and don't give a fuck. So like he wanted to push his message to the young because he knew that the young was the motherfuckers that was more willing to mobilize, which is true. But the thing is, like, nigga, when you get older and shit, like, like he said, like, you got more to lose, especially, like, when you have a child. Because, like, I got homeboys and shit, like, nigga, that was gang banging, tough, active, nigga, out there, with all the bullshit. But once you get a child, my nigga, it's like, nigga, you living for your child now. Like, all that I'm willing to die for this shit, like, nigga, I'm willing to die for my child. It's not a lot of shit out here that I die for that don't carry my last name. Like back in the day, a nigga used to be on some rah-rah dumb shit. Like, nigga, like I be telling motherfuckers, like, niggas be running around like they got nothing to lose when they don't feel like something that they have is worth living for. Like when you young, it's kind of a thing like, you know, um, if you can't find nothing to die for, then you ain't got nothing to live for. Like with a lot of us young members of gangs in the LA area, like a lot of us is willing to die for that shit, my nigga. Like kind of aimlessly on some real shit. Like a lot of us just don't know no better. Like we willing to die for our homeboys. We willing to die for, this organization that we became a member of and shit. But it's like, nigga, when you get older and you have a kid, it's kind of like, nigga, why the fuck would I die for some colors when I could be living for my child? Like, nigga, my child can't eat my street cred. My child can't eat the stories that my homies got of me. Like, my child, I gotta be here to protect my child. I gotta be here to give my child the right information. I gotta be here to aim my child in the way that I want them to go. I gotta live to be a fucking example for my kid. So when you get older, it's like a lot of the shit that you was willing to do, you ain't willing to do that shit no more. Like, nah, my nigga. So like when I saw that nigga baby mama rubbing her stomach, like she was just like, my nigga, I understand, but we gonna have to tailor that shit a little bit, cause we got a lot to live for right now, my nigga. Like you got to be out here for Fred Jr., my nigga. You know, and his thing was, you know, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Which, you know, the fucked up thing is, you know, he had to pay that motherfucking price shortly after that fucking conversation. You know, like it's just a fucking trip. Like just those times, you know, like when you see that shit on film, because you know, like I said, a lot of us understand the story, a lot of us know the story, a lot of us heard the fucking story, but to see that shit, like the links that they was willing to go to, you know, to mind fuck the rat, you know, like the false information that they was putting out, the fucking poison pen letters. Like these motherfuckers was playing dirty as fuck, my nigga. Like Edgar Hoover, that motherfucker is the fucking devil. Like that motherfucker gay Edgar Hoover, boy, he was a cold fucking piece of work. Like nigga, he was mind fucking everybody. Like you saw the little shit that he did with the little agent when the nigga was like, you know, what are you gonna do when your daughter brings home a Negro? Like, you know, that he was a manipulative motherfucker. Like it's a trip that nobody ever gets into the fact that he was a cross dresser and shit. But you know, I guess it wasn't that important to the context of the story, but at the same time, like, you know, it's just levels to that shit. Like, you know, I always look at the psychology of certain motherfuckers, like what be going through people's head, like what motivates motherfuckers to do what they do. You know, like I always talk about like homophobic motherfuckers always being on the down low. You know, like whenever I meet a nigga who's like super fucking what you call that shit? Like nigga, like they super insecure around gay people. You know, like they super with the, oh nigga, I'll sock a gay nigga in the mouth if the gay nigga look at me. Nigga, I don't want no gay nigga standing next to me. Like nigga, I'm always like, nigga, who touched your booty when you was little, my nigga? Like who the fuck got you like that to where you really think that gay people are such a fucking threat to you? And you know, like that's how I look at a lot of these racist motherfuckers, like especially gay Edgar Hoover. Like with him, it was a situation where like, you know, like they talk about the fear of the black man, you know, the fear of the black penis. You know, like with him being a cross dresser, like that nigga must have had the baby dick. Like I think that's probably why he hated black people so much, because of the stereotype that we got of having big dicks. Like I really think that shit intimidated him to the highest fucking form. Like I really hate J. Edgar Hoover. Everything he stand for, fuck him and everybody who fuck with him. Because you know, like just watching how he was getting down, like just the fact that he was trying to do little dirty tricks in order to stop black progress. You know, like he was saying that, you know, black progress was the greatest threat to the American way. Shit like that, whenever you hear white people try to deny the fact that white privilege exists, they need to watch this motherfucking movie. Because everything that J. Edgar Hoover was trying to, you know, save or whatever, that he was trying to preserve, everything he was trying to protect is white privilege. You know, like white motherfuckers, as far as from the standpoint of white races, they do not want us on no fucking equal playing field. Because at the end of the day, my nigga, black power, all black power is we just want equality. We want the same power that these motherfuckers got. We want the same education these motherfuckers got. It ain't that we want to be better, bigger, and all that shit, even though we are, literally. Like, nigga, we just want to be able to play in the same motherfucking playing field that y'all on. We want to have the same education y'all got. We want to be able to get everything that y'all got. We want to be able to get it so we can be on an even playing field. When we race, we want to stand right next to you on the same motherfucking starting line and race the same motherfucking distance. That's all the fuck we asking for when we say black power. But white motherfuckers, nah. They gonna fight to keep that motherfucking head start. They gonna fight to make sure we got hurdles and they don't. Them motherfuckers is willing to kill and die for that shit. To protect their privilege, that's all they want, my nigga. You know, like with him, he was willing to play dirty to keep them motherfucking advantages. Which, you know, like I be telling motherfuckers, man, like, you know, people see movies like this and they see that it was set in the 60s or the 70s or shit like that, and they just always like, oh, man, shit was so fucked up back then. And the thing is, my nigga, it's the same way now that it was then. It just look different. You know, they just carry it different. They not no more or less racist than they was back in the day. They just better at hiding it nowadays. Nigga, racism ain't win no motherfucking where. People like J. Edgar Hoover ain't win no motherfucking where. You know, like I'm telling motherfuckers with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, my nigga. Like the only difference is between Donald Trump and fucking Joe Biden was we had racism right, now we got racism left. We got racism red up out of office, now we got racism blue. You know, like I keep telling motherfuckers, man, like y'all really ignored the crime bill. You know, it's like we don't like open racism. We like nice racism. We like our racists to pat us on our back and call us a nigger when we not looking. We don't want to be called a nigger to our face. We still getting called a nigger. We just don't want to hear it when it happened. Me personally, I'd rather hear that shit when it happened. Like, I like a motherfucker who could tell me what the fuck it is, when it is, what it is, so I could react accordingly. Like, nigga, the way that it was back then, it was just open. You know, like you heard the way the police was talking to people. You know, you heard the way that, you know, the news was spinning shit. Like the fact that they could call you a Negro on TV. Like, you know, shit was crazy. But the thing is, like, it's no less racist. Like, think about how many niggas getting smoked by the police and the police going home. Like, that shit is a regular thing. Like, we can all name at least 10 people who got killed by the police, and we can't name one where the police got convicted. Nigga, racism ain't went nowhere, dog. That shit is still here, my nigga. You know, but like, as far as the movie go, like, one of the beginning scenes that kind of really like, well, it was a deep moment, and a lot of motherfuckers probably didn't catch it because I ain't really hear nobody really talking about that shit. But like when, you know, when the FBI agent was talking to the rat, and he was asking him, like, you know, why was you using a badge? Why wouldn't you use a gun? And he said a badge is scarier than a gun. You know, like any motherfucker could get a gun, but a badge, it's like you got the whole fucking army behind you. Nigga, that was a profound fucking statement. You know, because a lot of people don't really put it that way, but that shit is true. You know, like I've talked about that shit on this show a bunch of times. Like how niggas in the street was shooted out with 20 niggas. Like it'll be one nigga standing on the corner and a van full of niggas pull up and he'll shoot it out with all of them. Like niggas do not be scared of other niggas. Niggas do not be scared of niggas with guns. Nigga, I done been in situations where I was at the gas station pumping gas and some niggas pulled up in a van and I whipped out on them. Like no fucking hesitation, my nigga. Like when you see niggas with guns, it's like you'll shoot it out with niggas with guns. But in the same scenario, you got a gun on you and a police car pull up, you'll throw your fucking gun. Like niggas fear the police, dog. Like badges is way fucking scarier. Like niggas do not fear niggas. Niggas fear the ones. Because the thing is, like, just in the context of the consequences of the interaction between you and that nigga with the gun. You shoot another gangbanger, you could possibly go home. You know, I tell motherfuckers all the time, if you really want to get away with murder, kill a gang member or a rapper. I'm so fucked up with these buttons, my nigga. Like, it's just embarrassing at this point. But I'll get my rhythm back soon. But like the thing is, my nigga, when it comes to, you know, the gun versus the badge, if you shoot somebody in the shootout, you can go home. If you shoot somebody that's a police officer, like think about just the context of the investigation. Like the TV show First 48. The TV show First 48, they say, if a crime is not committed in the first, if a crime is not solved within the first 48 hours of the police becoming aware of it, it's probably gonna go to a cold case and probably never be solved, right? 48 hours, 2 days. You kill a nigga, they gonna investigate for 2 days. If you kill a police officer, my nigga, or like if you kill like a lily white lady, them motherfuckers will comb the corners of the earth to find your motherfucking ass. Like think about Lacey Peterson, John Benet Ramsey. Them white girls that got lost out there in like Brazil or whatever. Like certain motherfuckers, you kill them, nigga, they gonna comb the globe to find your ass. That's the reason a badge is scarier than a gun, my nigga. Because gun to gun, I kill a gunman, bam. Nigga, 2 days later, long as it ain't no weapon, no witnesses, I could go home. Nigga, I don't give a fuck if you 007, my nigga. You smoke a cop, them motherfuckers ain't gonna rest till them motherfuckers put you in the dirt. Fuck jail. Nigga, the police, them motherfuckers gonna get street justice on your motherfucking ass. So that's the reason the badge is scarier than a gun. Like, that was a real deep scene, my nigga. Like in another part that kind of like got me, which this is more of like a common sense type of situation, but like, nigga, a rat will do anything to get out of the motherfucking trap, my nigga. Like, these motherfuckers, what the fuck they say? I think that nigga sentence was like a 2 to 5. Like, it wasn't even no hell of a jail time that they was hanging over this nigga head to get this nigga to do all that shit. Especially just the fact that even during the whole bullshit while it was happening, like, nigga, this nigga's life got put on the line multiple times in his interactions with different Panthers. Yet this nigga kept fucking going, and all the fucking feds had to do was either offer this bitch ass nigga some money or hang that little fuck ass time over his head. Like, 5 years, dog. Nigga, I'm not putting my life on the line to get out of a 5-year prison sentence. I'd much rather do my little 5 years because I know I'm coming home than have to deal with the consequences of what ended up happening. Like he ended up killing himself after all that shit. Which, so fuck him. And it was a trip because like toward the end of the movie when the nigga was like, "Oh, I'll let history tell my story." Like, what? Like you saying that shit like going down as a fucking half rat, half coon. Like history gonna smile down on you somehow, my nigga. Like, yo, your whole movie was about how you was a punk ass bitch. Nigga, history is not kind to suckers, dog. Like, the crazy fucking thing about that whole shit, like, and I tell niggas all the time, like, just about rats in general, my nigga. Like, nobody respects rats. Like, they don't, like, a lot of times these snitch ass niggas, like, they think that the motherfuckers who they snitching to gonna have some type of sympathy for them, or like some type of, like, they looking at you like you're a valuable asset. Nigga, you are a tool. Like, the police, when you a snitch, they look at you like toilet paper. Like, yeah, you're important, but at the end of the day, I'ma wipe my ass with you and throw your ass away. That's what a rat is to the police, my nigga. That's what a rat is to everybody. Nigga, a snitch is the lowest fucking form of human being, my nigga. Like, just look at how they was talking to this nigga and how they was fucking treating this nigga. Like, them motherfuckers was treating him like a straight clown, which he was, my nigga. He was a fucking clown. Like, nigga, oh, well, we gonna give you that 5 years. Oh, you don't want to do it? All right, we're gonna go ahead and put you in jail. Like, they know, nigga, you a bitch. If I could threaten you with some weak shit to get you to do something, nigga, you're a bitch. And that was the thing. Like, he did a bunch of, like, slick shit. Like, kind of like on some 007 MacGyver shit. Like, you was seeing how the nigga was, like, weaseling his way out of shit. And it was low key impressive to a certain point. Like, damn, this nigga, he a slick motherfucker, but at the same time, he's still a bitch. Like, that's the one part of the movie that I never let go of. Like, nigga, no matter what this nigga do, he's still a bitch. Like, nigga, I tell niggas all the time, my nigga, like, a snitch is the lowest fucking form of human being in my eyes, my nigga. I hate snitches more than anything. I hate snitches more than liars. Because at the end of the day, to be a snitch, you gotta be a liar. Nigga, a thief, a fucking rapist, like niggas, snitches is the lowest fucking form. And like I said, nigga, even to the police, my nigga, you are toilet paper, my nigga. You are the human personification of toilet paper. You are important to them, but they wipe their ass with you and they throw you the fuck away, my nigga. Like, just think about how they pinned that murder on the other snitch. Like, yeah, he an informant, so, you know, whatever, fuck him. Yeah, you know, we know who did the murder, but we gonna pin it on him because he got killed anyway, so whatever, fuck him. Like, you think you doing this motherfucking service, my nigga, like you really a fucking agent and shit. You know, just like how he asked homeboy, like, man, how much you make? And dude, like, bitch ass nigga, don't ask me that shit. Like, nigga, yeah, I make a living. Like, I make money because I'm a real agent. You're just a snitch. Shut the fuck up. Stay in your place. Fucking rat. Like, nigga, even the police calling you rats and snitches and all that stupid ass shit. Like, you know, like, you like a sorry ass bitch at the end of the day. Like, you like the bitch that the nigga bring around just to give him money, give him pussy, and then he sends you on your way like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're toilet paper, my nigga. Like, he did all that bullshit, and then to find out that the nigga only got the today's equivalent of 200 G's. You know, and in the movie, like they said, that nigga was doing this shit for some years. Like, it wasn't even like he was doing that shit like on no quick basis. Like, that nigga was doing that shit for some years. And to only get 200 G's, like, even if it was only 4 years, you was doing that shit for $50,000 a year, man, $1,000 a week. You out here putting your life on the line to be a detriment to your fucking people. For 50 G's a year, my nigga, souls are selling for fucking cheap, my nigga. Like, that shit is crazy. You know, and just, you know, because like I'm not gonna say I did research because somebody sent it to me. Like, one of my homeboys sent me the video of like the actual interview of this nigga talking about what he did, like the interview that he did before he killed himself. Like, this nigga was doing so much shit in order to get 50 G's a year. Like, nigga, you crumbled. You fucked up so much shit. Like, you was such a fucking detriment to motherfuckers that look like you for 50 G's a year. Like, nigga, us as people, we just gotta vet motherfuckers better. Like, watching that movie, you know, and everybody who know me know, if you know me personally, nigga, y'all niggas know how I get down, man. Like, I don't fuck with a lot of motherfuckers. Like, I tell niggas all the time, to fuck with me is a compliment. You a real ass nigga if I answer my phone when you call. You a real ass nigga if I take a picture with you. If you seen next to me, you got to be a real ass nigga. Because I don't fuck with motherfuckers. Because, like, just in this movie, you know, like, he did little shit to get in these motherfuckers' good graces, to get close to these motherfuckers, and this is the nigga that he is. Like, I tell motherfuckers all the time, like, I always warn people about these fucking fake ass friends and these day ones and all these niggas who you think is your homies. I be telling motherfuckers all the time, like, I don't even call niggas my friend until we been through some crazy shit. Like, I don't even call niggas my friend until we been through some fucked up shit. You know, because you just never know the type of motherfucker you dealing with until that fire get on their ass. You know, like I tell my homeboys all the time, my nigga, a co-defendant ain't nothing but a potential snitch, my nigga. Like, you never know what a nigga will do until he get in that room and they say, it's you or your homeboy. You never know what a nigga gonna do until they say, nigga, give us a name and you'll go home. You know, you facing 50 fucking years. So you could either tell on your homie or you can do that 50. Nigga, you just never know who you dealing with till motherfuckers get put in them situations, my nigga. So it's like me, I'm just not the type of person that just trusts motherfuckers. Because, nigga, when I watch movies like that, that shit just reinforces something that I already believe in my heart, nigga. Like 99% of niggas is not 100. Like, you be thinking niggas is real. Niggas is barely realistic, my nigga. Like, a lot of these niggas out here is motherfucking frauds, my nigga. Like, I be telling motherfuckers all the time, like, nigga, I be needing to see receipts on niggas. Like, nigga, I be needing like 5 or 6 motherfucking references, nigga. I need to see your credit score, my nigga. I need to know your mom's maiden name. Like, it takes a lot of vetting for me to consider a motherfucker my friend. Because of shit like this, my nigga. You know, like, I think he was probably the motherfucker that wrote that poison pen letter. You know, like, if you saw the scene where, you know, Fred and them went to go meet with the Crowns, which was really the Vice Lords. You know, shout out to the Vice Lords. Them niggas held it down in that movie. Them niggas did that shit. You know. But, I don't know, my nigga. Like, it's just crazy the shit this nigga was doing. And the fact that a motherfucker could look you in your face while they stabbing you in your motherfucking back, like, that shit crazy as fuck, my nigga. You know, because I heard a lot about the poison pen letters. Like, that was a big tactic that Gay Edgar Hoover was using. Like, he used that shit to fuck up the Panthers in LA. Now I see Chicago, like, all over the country, my nigga. You know, and they didn't call it a poison pen letter in the movie. So let me break down what the poison pen letter was. Like, the scene in the movie where they went to go meet with the Vice Lords, and as they was talking, that nigga was like, let me read something to you. And then he read that letter with that fucked up slang on it, like, you know, whoop-de-whoop, we gonna go ahead and knock the crowns off their head, the watermelon heads, and all this old stupid bullshit. And then at the end, that shit said, like, dig in. Like, you know, that was one of the things, my nigga. Like, that was something that, you know, Fred Hampton, like, Euro stepped through that shit. Like, nigga, why do you think we'll write that shit and then come meet up with you niggas empty-handed if we was already talking slick shit about y'all and it dropped down on your doorstep? Like, the shit was just far too obviously sloppily done for us to even acknowledge the fact that it could have possibly been us. Like, I admired the way that Fred Hampton handled that shit. Like, I like the way that nigga wasn't shook and the way that he got down with that shit, because them niggas had 100 guns pointed at they damn head. And the nigga was still able to maneuver as a stand-up fucking individual. Like, I like how that nigga played that shit. But a lot of chapters of, you know, black revolutionary organizations weren't so fortunate when it came to them poison pen letters, because it's a movie called Bastards at a Party, and it was about basically gang banging in South Central LA. And that was where I heard about the poison pen letters, where the feds would circulate little, you know, little letters and shit for other organizations to find, where, let's just say, like, the Black Panthers is talking shit about the, I don't know, let me just make up a name, Southern California Revolutionary Organization. You know, so these motherfuckers will find a letter that it looks like the Black Panthers are writing to each other, and they talking little slime shit about y'all. You know, so it'd be like a letter, you know, with Black Panther letterhead on it, like, yeah, you know, the Black Panthers are doing this, and these sorry ass Southern California revolutionary bitch ass niggas, blah blah blah. You know, and it's to cause division between organizations. Like, they use the poison pen letters between Malcolm and Martin, you know, which is something that Fred Hampton talked about in that meeting with the Vice Lords. Like, you know, they this is how the motherfuckers split Malcolm and Martin up. You know, these little punk ass letters that they write, and of course they gonna make it so convenient that you just easily find it, where I'm just murder mouthing you and shit, knowing that, number one, that ain't even no shit niggas will say. You know, because that was the thing. Like, you know, when you read the letter, like, nigga, the language in that motherfucker, you know, like, that was like a dead giveaway. Like, nigga, we don't even talk like that. You know, and this is something that white motherfuckers do when they lie on you. Them motherfuckers project our language fucked up. Like, I remember when I was watching the Mike Brown trial, and this motherfucker gonna say Mike Brown said, "Oh, you're too pussy to shoot me." Like the way that he was saying that Mike Brown talk was like on some like 70s jive turkey bullshit. You know, and this is the thing, like jive turkey ain't even a term that black people use. Jive turkey was like some shit that white people will hear one of our little slangs, and then they'll hear another little slang, and they be trying to mix it and match it and do little shit to try to make it sound like some shit that we'll say. Like that Dre Beats fucking commercial. I forgot homegirl name, but she hopped out the car with the headphones on, and the fucking the tagline was like flex that clap back. Who the fuck talks like that? You know, and that was the thing that Fred Hampton was talking about when the Vice Lords was reading that letter. Like, nigga, that ain't even nothing we'll fucking say, especially that dig in part. Like, the fuck is dig in, my nigga? Like, nigga, you should know that's some bullshit when you read that part, my nigga. Like, that ain't even part of our fucking vernacular. You know, but this is how the feds get down, my nigga. And like I be telling motherfuckers, like, this the reason I don't take pictures with niggas. Like, niggas who know me know I don't take pictures with niggas because of shit like that. Like, you know, I tell motherfuckers all the time, man, like, you gotta be careful what you do online. Because it's just as many niggas following you on the police force as motherfuckers who you fuck with. You know, like on Clubhouse. You know, like I done talked about this fucking shit on multiple shows, like our Facebook group. You know, motherfuckers got infiltrated, my nigga. Like the police was in that motherfucking. Like I said, nigga, the police ain't as slick as a lot of us think. They're relentless. They're willing to do dirty shit. You know, them motherfuckers is tricky. But them motherfuckers ain't it. They not as 007 as we be thinking. Like they just fucking sneaky as hell. Like they do shit that we wouldn't really expect. You know, like when it came to, you know, homeboy saying that, oh, you know, Fred is, you know, jail is a temporary fix. Like a lot of motherfuckers don't even think motherfuckers are stoop that low. You know, and I tell motherfuckers like this is the reason I don't really trust a lot of people because you just never know how low a motherfucker stoop, my nigga. Like you just never know. So I just don't be leaving motherfuckers enough rope to hang theyself. Like I don't be letting motherfuckers get close enough to me to stab me in my motherfucking back. Like no offense and shit. But I be telling motherfuckers like nigga, I just don't take pictures with niggas cause I'm cool. You know, I tell motherfuckers like I don't like to hang out with niggas that I don't know because you just never know. Like I was telling a homie, like it's a nigga who I don't fuck with to this day. Cause like I be telling motherfuckers, I do not want to be standing next to this nigga when karma comes back to bite him on his ass. You know, there's some shit that I know this nigga done did. There's some motherfuckers who I know this nigga done fucked over. There's just some situations and some ways that this nigga gets down that I'm like, I do not need to be standing next to this nigga when the motherfucker come and spin the block on this nigga. You know, like that's the thing, my nigga. Like, it's motherfuckers out here that got some fucked up motives, my nigga. Like it's motherfuckers out here that, you know, like I tell niggas all the time, nigga, like you don't know what this nigga got going on when you letting this nigga stand close to you. Like I don't educate my motherfucking enemies, my nigga. Like it's just certain shit you don't want to tell niggas. You know, like one of the scenes that I was watching when the motherfucker, you know, brought the fucking C4 in the trunk and he like, man, we really finna set this shit off. Nigga, I do not trust niggas who be too willing to put it all on the line for nothing. You know, and this goes for snitches and just regular niggas as well. I tell motherfuckers all the time. I talk about that shit on this fucking show all the time, my nigga. Like, I don't never fuck with niggas who willing to put it all on the line. Because I'm not willing to put it all on the line. I don't fuck with niggas who run around acting like they got nothing to lose because I got too much to lose. Fucking with niggas who ain't got nothing to lose will help you lose all your shit. You know, like I'm just like I was very pleased to see the way that Fred Hampton's character got down in that movie. You know, like he was Euro stepping a lot of little bullshit that Lakeith Stanfield's character was trying to pull, my nigga. Like when he brought that C4, that nigga like, man, if I don't get that shit the fuck up out of here. You know, and that's the thing. Like you can't let niggas trick you off the street, my nigga. Because that's what that was. You know, like the feds had said, like, you know, like, oh, we gotta get more creative with how we use our snitch. And it was a trip, you know, because like what the nigga name in the movie was, Bill O'Neal. Like he was trying to, you know, have, you know, a little say so in what he did. Oh, we not gonna kill him. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do this. But dog, the thing about that shit, nigga, once you sell your soul, the buyer has full control. Like, nigga, the thing is, dog, once you put yourself in a motherfucking situation with somebody hanging something over your head, like, nigga, they could blackmail you into doing anything, my nigga. Like, every time that nigga stepped out of line, the motherfucker said, you can go back to jail. We'll come find you. We'll come fuck you over. And that nigga just start back dancing. That nigga fell right in line. And like I said, my nigga, like they treat you like a little punk ass bitch when you a snitch, my nigga. You know, because they know your bitch ass running from 2 years in prison. We know you a hoe. Nigga, you running from 5 years in prison. We know you a bitch. So we gonna treat you like a bitch. Bitch, go dance. Go do what the fuck we said, my nigga. Or we gonna give you that little 3 motherfucking years that your bitch ass running away from. Like, nigga, that nigga should have just ate that motherfucking time. In hindsight, you know, knowing what he knows now, may he rest in piss. Like, nigga, it just ain't worth it, dog. Like, snitching is not worth it. I tell motherfuckers all the time, a lot of niggas who end up snitching still gonna go to jail. A lot of niggas still gonna have to face their motherfucking consequences, my nigga. Like, nigga, rats never win, my nigga. You know, like, I hated that shit. I enjoyed the movie. Like, knowing the story was dope, but just seeing the way this nigga was getting down was like, nigga, all this shit is just a reinforcement of shit that I've been talking about. You know, I had 2 episodes about the year of the rat. You know, like, nigga, snitches is the lowest form of human being, my nigga. They human toilet paper, my nigga. You know, like, just the fact that he was trying to have some say-so in the moves that he was making was, like, laughable, my nigga. Like, the fact that he was, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And Humble was just like, bitch ass nigga, I was just acting like I was your friend to get you to snitch, my nigga. You know, because that's the thing. Like, that's the tactics that these motherfuckers use to get your stupid ass to talk. They played the good cop on your ass in the beginning. Hey, man, we know you didn't do anything. Man, we know you got a family, bro. We understand, man. Look, all you gotta do is tell on your homies, man, and you can go home and you can see your girl. You know, you can do this, man. You'll be a fucking, you'll be one of our little buddies, man. We'll treat you really good, man. We'll look out for you, buddy. We'll make sure you're safe. Nigga, you get them niggas what they want, them niggas gonna send your ass right out there in them streets to get your motherfucking head blown off. You know, just like how they pent that body on that one snitch. Like, them motherfuckers have no respect for you, dog. Like, and this goes for, you know, any form of coon. You know, because this goes beyond the snitches. Like, this is Candace Owens, Jesse Lee Peterson, Herschel Walker, bitch ass, Larry Elder, you know, and all these other motherfuckers, you know, Stacey Dash, like all these other niggas who get paid to talk that stupid, greasy, slimy shit about black people on TV. Like, nigga, after they get done with you, my nigga, they're gonna throw you away, my nigga. You're literally human toilet paper, dog. Like, they use you, You know, because you are important to them. They do need you, my nigga. Like, you do need toilet paper. But what do we do with toilet paper? As important as toilet paper is for us, my nigga, toilet paper is essential. But how do you use toilet paper? You wipe your ass with it and then you throw that shit away. This is what you are when you're a snitch. This is what you are when you're a coon, my nigga. Whenever you go against your people in anything, you become fucking toilet paper to the motherfucker who you're doing that against. This go for transforming ass gang members and all that shit, my nigga. Like, you was a Crip, you was running from a fucking DP, now you a Blood. Nigga, the Bloods is looking at you like you a bitch, cause you used to be a Crip, nigga. You switched sides. You a fucking clown. You a sucker, my nigga. Like, nobody respects a sucker, nigga. Like, you way better off just taking your fucking consequences than taking the bitch route. Like, motherfuckers think that taking the bitch route in anything is the easy way, my nigga. Like, the thing is, my nigga, like, there's no such thing as an easy way, my nigga. Like, you could take the easy way and have a hard life, or take the hard way and have an easy life. But either way, nigga, it's gonna be some hard shit. Like, that shit is fucking crazy, my nigga. Like, that shit was just a trip to see. Like, the fact that this nigga did all that motherfucking snitching for a bitch ass 200 G's running away from 5 years in prison. Like, and it's crazy because, like, the older you get and the more that you have experiences with niggas who did time, like, nigga, my cousin did 13 years. And it's like, when you hear 13 years, you just like, God damn, that's a long ass time. Until the nigga get out, and it's like, damn, you know what? That nigga did that 13 years and everything is like peaches and cream, like the nigga never went away. I'm sure that was a hard fucking 13 years, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not minimizing the impact on your life that prison time has. But, nigga, the impact that this motherfucker had on the black community, on Chicago, on, you know, those people in that community. Like, he decimated that shit to get away from 5 bitch ass years. Like, nigga, you put yourself in staying away from 5 years and 200K, nigga, from probably changing the whole fucking city of Chicago. Like, that shit was just, it was really a trip, like, to see with your own 2 eyes how this motherfucker was able to get, you know, the Latinos, the motherfucking redneck hillbillies and all that shit, you know, together under one fucking umbrella with one fucking common mission, with one fucking goal. Like, the power that a motherfucker words have is fucking amazing, dog. Like, that shit was a trip. Like, I'm like, damn, this nigga was, he was a cold motherfucker to be able to do that shit. And then, like, something that I say a lot, like, something that he said in the movie, which is, again, like, I be telling motherfuckers, like, I hate the way that human beings throw common sense into the wind. Like, I hate when a lot of us will hear something profound, but we won't take heed to that shit. You know, like he said in the motherfucking movie, my nigga, you can kill a messenger, but you can't kill a message. You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a fucking revolution. Like, nigga, when he died, I just wish that everything that he was doing could have kept going. You know, like I said in my episode after Nipsey died, like, I wish that when a motherfucker got killed, we can just keep on going with what the motherfucker said, because motherfuckers will leave a detailed fucking blueprint of what we need to do, my nigga. But it's like, as human beings, it's like we just have this fucking need to be led. Like, we just have a need to have a motherfucker telling us what to do every goddamn day. It's like, we can't just say, okay, Martin Luther King said we need to start businesses, support our own businesses. Malcolm X said we need to fucking defend ourselves. We need to become more politically savvy. You know, we need to stand up to these motherfuckers. We need to protect ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves within ourselves. And we need to stop letting other motherfuckers in fucking our shit up. We got to do it like this. Okay, Fred Hampton said this. We got to do this. Like, instead of us just saying, okay, this is what he said, let's keep on doing that. Motherfucker get killed and we just disperse. It just dissipates the motherfucking energy. Like they said, cut off the head and that's gonna kill the fucking body. And that's the way shit's been going, my nigga. And that shit sucks. Like, I hate that shit. Like, I hate that we allow somebody to die and that shit just fucks the whole movement up. Like, nigga, it's like they killed a messenger and we let the message just die. They don't kill the message, we let it die. Like, you can go on fucking YouTube and watch hours and hours of Malcolm X talking, saying some real ass shit. And is anybody gonna take heed? No. Like, you can watch hours and hours of Martin Luther King speeches. Is anybody gonna take heed? No. Like, that's the thing, my nigga. Like, the message is still here. The mission is still here. Everything they said to do is still here and it can still be done. But it's like we only want to do it when somebody's telling us to do it. When somebody's standing on a podium with a microphone telling us, hey, you need to support black business. Hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. Instead of us saying, you know what? We need to do that whether that nigga here or not. Like, we like little kids when our parents leave, or like students in a classroom when the teacher leave. Like, when the teacher leave, now you throwing papers, throwing spitballs, you standing up, you getting out of your fucking seat. Like, nigga, we just lack discipline as a motherfucking people. And that's not a good thing. Like, you know, like in the movie, you know, a lot of parts in that movie, like, was very small but very profound. You know, like in the movie, even the fucking vice lords, my nigga, the crowns that they called him in the movie. Like, when homeboy noticed that Lakeith Stanfield was the bitch ass nigga from the beginning of the movie, and he was like, hey nigga, whoop de whoop de whoop. And they was like, nigga, you speaking out of turn. You know, like, discipline. Staying in line, my nigga. Like, whether the leader is here or not, you should still have the fucking ability to stay in line. Like, if I give you detailed instructions on what the fuck to do in any circumstance, you should just be able to follow them instructions whether I'm here to enforce them or not. This is our fucking problem. Whenever they kill our leader, we let the fucking whole mission go away. Nigga, that's some bullshit. Like, we gotta learn to say, okay, this is what Martin said to do. This is what Malcolm said to do. This is what Fred Hampton said to do. This is what James Baldwin said to do. This is what any group of leaders, when they say to do something, we should be able to do that shit whether they hear or not, my nigga. Like, we're adults. We grown ass motherfuckers. Like, we try to teach our kids to be good whether we in the house or not. But us as adults, when a leader get killed, we can't continue on the fucking mission. That shit out. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, we should be able to do that shit. Nigga, when Fred Hampton got killed, nigga, we should have turned up. Everything he said, we should have did that shit to the 10th power in his honor. Nigga, just like when Nipsey got smoked, my nigga. Like I was saying that shit in the show. Like, nigga, I hope gang banging just dissipates, my nigga. Like, I hope that niggas just completely decide not to fucking kill each other no more after that. Cause that shit out, my nigga. Like, that shit bullshit. What that shit say? We trust and believe more about people that we doing purpose. My bad, homie. I'm not a good fast reader and shit, and my screen fucked up. But, like, nigga, on some real shit, like, nigga, we can't let people kill a mission when they kill a leader, dog. Like, you know, we just gotta become more disciplined as a group. Like, you know, I tell motherfuckers all the time, like, nigga, I study Malcolm X, my nigga. Like, I really take heed to the shit that he says. Like, episode 1, politicking, was a lot about my favorite Malcolm X speech, which is the Ballad of the Bullet. Which I think I did a fucking episode called the Ballad of the Bullet, if I'm not mistaken. Like, nigga, like, I'm a student of certain motherfuckers. Like, I hear the message and I move according to the message, my nigga. Like, I wish that us as people could be more like that. Like when they kill our leaders, my nigga, like we need to really turn up in the absence of our leader, my nigga. Like we don't need to dissipate when the leader go away. Just like when he went to jail and they was saying, oh, membership went down. Oh, people stopped coming to the meetings. It's like, nigga, why the fuck you stop coming to the meetings, my nigga? Just cause he not here don't mean the mission went away. We still on the same mission. We still got the same problem. Like when the leader go away, the problem don't go away. So why the fuck we stop stomping like we supposed to be stomping? It's just like a kid, my nigga. Like just cause your parent left don't mean you don't gotta do your homework, because whether they here or not, if you don't do the homework, you gonna fucking fail. So just do the fucking homework, my nigga. And that's the thing. Like us as fucking adults, like we're not children, my nigga. Like when a leader goes away, nigga, that don't mean shit. Like they would really have like you think they fear us when we got a Malcolm, a Martin, a Fred Hampton, a Huey P. Newton, a Bobby Seale, a Kwame Ture, a fucking, Stokely Carmichael, as a lot of people know him. Like you think they fear us when we got a leader, my nigga. Imagine if when they did kill a leader, we turned the fuck up instead of turning the fuck away. Nigga, I swear to God, we'll be fucking unstoppable, dog. But it's like, nigga, they know how to get us every time. It's like, nigga, cut off the head and the whole body gonna go away. And it's like, nigga, we keep on seeing these stories replayed over and over and over again. And it's like, we just don't learn from that shit. And that shit is sad, dog. I hate to fucking see it. But, overall, just to put a bow on that shit, it was a great movie. I feel like everybody should see it. I think I've said this shit before. Like, certain movies, I just feel like go into the pile of movies that as black people, we should just all see them. It's important. I hope that we all got the messages out of the movie, because, I watch movies for entertainment, but I also watch movies for the messages, whether big or small. I watch every scene because, some of the smaller scenes in a lot of movies got the biggest messages in them. Some very small, nuanced scenes, have some jewelry in that shit. So I love watching movies where I can really focus and fucking pay attention. Because like, nigga, as I was watching the movie, like I paused the motherfucker like 20 times, my nigga. Just to get every little piece, nigga, just to rewind and go back and be like, damn, what that nigga was talking about? Damn, what did they mean in this scene? Like, damn, that shit was powerful. Like, stop and really let that shit marinate, my nigga. Cause it's like, nigga, this was a very important piece of film. Like, I don't know who directed it and all that shit. I ain't even gonna front. I ain't even do no research, but it was a fucking phenomenal film, my nigga. And I feel like everybody should watch that shit. If you a slow learner, you should watch that shit 3 or 4 times. Watch that shit with a motherfucker who, who's aware, and, do some research on Fred Hampton. The Black Panthers and, J. Edgar Hoover bitch ass and all that old shit, because, it's important, my nigga. It's Black History Month, especially this month. Y'all niggas get on that shit. And I'm gonna drop the mic on that. This has been your host, Yung Dolemite, of the Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room. Once again, if you would like to support us financially, it's patreon.com/Townhouse Media, Town E House Media. Support all the Townhouse Media podcasts. Seriously None Other Podcast, Friday nights at 9 p.m. Whenever the fuck Ben Ready get around to it, because he don't do them shits every week. But when he do it, and it's always dope. So be on the lookout for Seriously None Other Podcast. Tuesday nights is Sports for You podcast, 6 p.m. live on Facebook and YouTube with Mark. Happy motherfucking birthday, Mark. Them niggas clowned the fuck out my ass on the Sports for You podcast last episode. I heard that shit. That shit was fucking hilarious. But yeah, Mark, John Watson and Nick motherfucking Freeze, my favorite fucking sports podcast. Them niggas, the homies, check them out. They know what the fuck they talking about. They be saying some real shit. You know that calling out names is probably the best segment in podcasting. So shout out to them for that shit. The No Rules podcast, Wednesday evenings, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on Facebook and YouTube as well, with my nigga Ill Will and Young Mark, aka the Juice Crew, aka the Bloods. Sundays, myself and CJ, the Cat vs. Dog podcast, live at 3 p.m. Pacific, live at 5 Houston time. This Sunday coming, we will be back. We will be talking that shit, you know, so be on the lookout for us. And if you hear, you already know. Friday nights, whenever the fuck I get around to it, I'm back consistent. I'm back here, back doing my shit. Your boy, Uncle motherfucking Dolemite, the Too Much Game podcast. You know, check me out. I'm on fucking YouTube, live on Instagram, you know, every fucking streaming platform, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever you listen to podcasts on, even fucking Pandora. Nigga, tell your fucking Echo Dot, Alexa, play the Too Much Game podcast, and I'll get cracking on that motherfucker. So check me out. You know, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Uncle Dolemite. Follow me on Clubhouse at Young Dolemite. Follow me on Twitter at Young Dolemite. You know, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a bitch ass nigga, tell a punk ass bitch. You know, tell everybody I'm back. But I guess that's it. I ain't here to help you get bitches. I'm here to help you get better. Too much game.